I decided to re-record this part of the game. So if you've watched the original video, then you can skip this as there is going to be no additional gameplay.
Good morning, Mr. Holmes. Can I help you?
Good morning, Constable. I would like to speak to the fellow who was arrested at Woodman's Lee last night.
Ah, the young man. He's waiting in the interrogation room. You can go straight through. His belongings are held in the evidence room.
Thank you.
Hi there. I'm guessing he won't let us through, so we must go this way.
These are the suspect's belongings. The notebook that we found on Peter Carey's cabin floor. These abbreviations mean something, but what? From R. Dawson. To my friend and partner, 1883. Dawson. I've seen this name before. Perhaps my archive holds the answer.
I would assume that he has, as Dawson is not exactly an uncommon surname.
A handkerchief with the initials JHN. A pocket knife. It was used to force the door of Peter Carey's cabin.
Now we can actually go down to the morgue, but there's no reason for us at the moment, as there's no dead bodies. Well, there is one, but I don't think he's down there just yet.
Locked.
And Lestrade does not seem to be in. And I have no idea what that is on his blackboard. Hello there. I believe this is randomized between one of 3 characters each time. Expensive fabric that has been repaired. And is too small for him. I'm not sure what the significance of having a small neck is, although his neck looked perfectly average to me.
Does this notebook belong to you?
Yes. But where did you find it? I did not know... I thought I'd lost it at the hotel.
What do these abbreviations mean?
Oh, no. I beg you, I can't. If I told you, it would only make things worse.
But I will find out eventually, Mr. Nelligan.
I still reckon how he actually says that sentence is very creepy.
The sea knife was found near Carey's body. Tell me, Mr. Nelligan, did Mr. Carey try to defend himself or to attack you with it?
I don't know. I didn't kill anyone.
The police seized this valuable ring from you. Whose is it?
I didn't steal it from anyone. It has always belonged to me.
Yes, Mr. Nelligan. This 11-year-old ring belongs to you.
The ring's date of engraving is many years ago. You would have been a child then, hardly in any position to receive such an item from a partner. So, Mr. Nelligan, who is the true owner of the ring?
The ring is mine.
but the jacket is not.
No, Mr. Nelligan. I believe that the ring had belonged to your father.
Oh, but how do you know?
The jacket you are wearing is made of an expensive fabric that only a man of exceptional wealth could afford. You do not seem to me to be a rich man, Mr. Nelligan. Furthermore, the garment is ill-fitting. It is quite clear that it belonged to someone else, most probably your father. With your father gone and taking with him the family's wealth, as a little boy you had to find yourself a manual job, and it was most probably cleaning fish. You cut your hands often while working. I can tell from the scars.
I'm speechless, Mr. Holmes. It all happened exactly as you say.
Well, I will see you soon, young man.
Please, let me go! I'm innocent!
Not just yet. So, before I leave here, let's deduce a couple of more things. So the break-in attempts can be linked to Nelligan's notebook. It proves he's guilty of trying to get his notebook back, but it does not prove he is guilty of killing Carey. And we also need to investigate this harpoon.
I need to stage a reconstruction. I am sure that Watson would be happy to oblige.
Okay, we need to go back to Baker Street anyway. I do like having the Hanson as a loading screen, especially as you can review the casebook and the deduction screen while you're waiting for the game to load. And I will be using it primarily to look for the clues that we've obtained. So we can actually go through several different things. We have the research. We have lots of different subjects we can look through. Newspapers, which I'm going to come back to in a second because this is where we need to be. Encyclopedias. Is this going to be A to Z? No. A, E, T, H. Whoa. It's not even in alphabetical order. For shame. And newspapers, I believe these will go up to... Oh, Jack the Ripper. I may go through these at another point, but I don't think we can access them.
That is not the one I need.
Okay, I thought we could have actually looked at these on an individual basis, but obviously not. So, to make things easier, the article that we need is on the first page.
Here it is. Now I begin to understand that young man's story, but I am still unclear as to what connects him with the murder. It is time to ask him.
And we do have a returning character. Hello, Toby.
Brave Toby, the best nose in the British Empire.
And you actually get an achievement for interacting with Toby in every case, which I intend to do. Go on, give him a stroke, Sherlock. No? Okay.
A spot of whaling, Watson. Would you care to take part?
Are you serious?
No, but we do need to clarify what happened on the night of Black Peter's murder.
A reenactment, then? Is something bothering you?
The sailor's knife, Watson. Why was it on the floor?
Peter Carey attempted to defend himself?
It is possible, but if that is the case, then it alters many things.
I don't quite follow you.
Tell me, my friend, what is the animal closest to man, morphologically, I mean?
Ah, I see what you're getting at, Holmes. You asked me that once before. On the Ripper case, I believe. Do you want to slit some more pigs' throats?
No.
Thank goodness for that.
I wish to impale one with a harpoon.
Wonderful.
Watson, let us pay a visit to our butcher friend in Whitechapel. We require the carcass of a well-fed pig.
And the harpoon?
One of the harpoons on the wall of Black Peter's cabin should do quite nicely.
Okay. We will take a long way to the butcher's. First we need to go to Scotland Yard and then Woodman's Lee. I'm going to be going back and forth a little bit, but it does cut down any future going back and forth. I believe if I can kill two birds with one stone, I will.
I have heard the story of Dawson and Nelligan, the West Country bankers.
Yes, Joshua Nelligan was my father.
I am aware that it had a bad ending. When the bank failed, it ruined half the families of Cornwall, whereupon Joshua Nelligan disappeared.
My father was under extraordinary pressure. Dawson had retired. I was only 10 years of age at the time, but it was still old enough to feel the shame that befell our family. My father was convinced that he could pay off all his debts if the creditors gave him time. He set sail for Hammerfest in Norway in his small yacht, just a few days before an arrest warrant was issued. He left my mother a list of the securities he was taking. No word was ever heard from him again. We believed that his vessel went down, taking with it everyone and everything on board.
Thank you for the story, Mr. Nelligan. At last, we are making some progress. Interesting. Joshua Nelligan and Peter Carey were both at sea in Norway. There is definitely some connection between Peter Carey and Joshua Nelligan's disappearance.
We have plenty of tasks to keep us busy.
"1883. That's the one I need. This is the crew list of the Sea Unicorn.
Now Carey's name is on here, but there is no Nelligan or Dawson. So one of these has to be an alias.
Log notes for June. Nothing unusual. Log notes for July. Nothing special. Log notes for August. These pages have been torn away. Canadian Pacific Railway, CPR, a torn piece from a bond certificate. I have seen this abbreviation somewhere very recently. There are 3 ways of discovering what happened in August of 1883 aboard the Sea Unicorn. The first 2 of these will require speaking with a dead man. The last would be to locate vital witnesses, the sailors involved in this whale hunt campaign. That should do it. Now I am ready for the experiment.
We are indeed. So, I like how the harpoon is sitting right next to Holmes right now. I believe if the camera was at a different angle, we could see it slightly better.
Well, here we are in the preparation room. I can't say that I like the smell of it much. What do you intend to do?
To indulge myself in a little experiment. The challenge of lancing a pig's carcass with a heavy harpoon.
A little experiment?
Stand aside, Watson. This might be dangerous. I am not well practiced in this exercise, yet.
Holmes, you should aim for the mark in order to perform the most reliable test.
So, we need to get this pretty much on the cross. And there is a bar here. We just need to line it up with a white square.
The harpoon has struck the body, but with insufficient strength to pierce it straight through.
Now, I think my record is getting it in on the second try. No. I do like how the box gets bigger though.
This is the best possible result that I could get. Do you see, Watson? Throwing a harpoon and pinning a man to a wall requires either exceptional strength and training or diabolical luck.
If it was luck, then it was a chance in 1,000 that night.
Well, yes. Let us leave now.
All right. But before we go, I suppose I'll have to pay for all these carcasses you've happily mangled.
Very well, but please hurry.
Of course.
Okay, I believe we can deduce something from this. I will look at the casebook in a moment when we travel somewhere else. So we have the strength required. Now we can actually make certain choices throughout this game. I believe there is only one correct route, but if you make a separate deduction compared to the optimum one, I guess, the game doesn't exactly punish you, and you can continue on as normal. But I believe there is only one sort of correct route from start to end. So we need to decide whether this is a feat of strength or whether it was a lucky throw. I mean, Holmes is unskilled and untrained, but he is remarkably athletic, considering how docile he is in the stories. He has been known to be quite athletic. Now, I believe the correct one for this, I mean, we can go for lucky throw and continue on with the game, but I believe this is the one we need to go down. The feat of strength. Because I know Nelligan could have been lucky, but you'd have to have some strength to even get it through pretty much a whole carcass or body in this murder investigations case. So, let's head back down to Baker Street.
Something new, Watson. I have the list of sailors who were aboard the Sea Unicorn. We shall soon learn what happened to Nelligan's father. I have only to find them. Let us hope they're still working at the harbour.
I think that if you pretend you're from Scotland Yard...
I doubt it, Watson. And really, I would prefer that all of this remains quiet for now. But I have another solution. I'll call in the specialist.
And who might they be?
The secret police division of Baker Street.
Ah, you mean young Wiggins and his gang?
Yes. Believe me, you'll receive more useful assistance from these little urchins than from a dozen yard detectives. Those children are everywhere. They see and hear everything, and they are cunning. All they lack is organization. I'll summon them.
How will you do that?
There is always a watch beneath our window. I have only to call him.
Wiggins, could you come upstairs, please?
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
Wiggins, I need you to track down certain people for me. I'll give you a list. You can read, can't you?
Big Oliver from our gang. He can, because his father is the coachman of a famous lawyer.
Fascinating. Here is the list of sailors.
Sailors? Easy. Just got to look where the rum and the red lights are.
Sorry to trouble you, Mr. Holmes, but the inspector asks that you come to the station as soon as possible.
Thank you. I'll be there shortly.
That's the second time the door opening has made me jump.
Mr. Holmes, I'm glad to see you.
As always, what happened?
We have a new suspect, Liam Hurtley. I'm thinking that this case will be resolved very quickly now.
Interesting. Pray tell.
Well, the constable that I left at Woodman's Lee noticed a suspicious individual prowling around during the night.
Do you have him here?
Yes. He refuses to speak with us, but we'll make him talk.
Let us hope so.
Ah, yes, and one more thing. The constable told me that at the time of his arrest, the fellow was writing a letter.
Do you have it?
Of course. It's in the evidence room, at your disposal. Admit that for once, Mr. Holmes, Scotland Yard is a step ahead of you, eh?
Breathtaking.
I actually quite like this version of Lestrade. Although I haven't seen much of him.
These are the suspect's belongings. Liam Hurtley's old boots. They're a size 9.5. The stains are fresh. They can be removed with the proper chemicals. A pen. Nothing unusual about it. These are the suspect's belongings. I wonder if these are connected.
CPR.
Now we have the proof that Nelligan's papers were indeed here. It seems that they have vanished, however. Please escort this suspect for interrogation. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sherlock Holmes. I would like to ask you a few questions.
I've already told the police that I've nothing to say. And you're not even part of the police.
Precisely, and considering your situation, it might be wise to speak with someone who is, shall we say, rather more neutral. You are a suspect in a murder case.
I know. Inspector Lestrade told me. It's ridiculous.
Could you at least tell me who you are, and exactly what happened that you should be brought here?
My name is Liam Hurtley. That I can tell you. But you're not getting any more than that.
Well, we shall see.
We may as well profile him while he's here. Interesting. The crested tit.
That's all for now. Please escort this suspect for interrogation. Tell me, Mr. Nelligan, what exactly were you hoping to find inside Peter Carey's cabin?
I was trying to find some information about my father.
I assume you had another purpose, to retrieve the bond certificates. Am I correct?
Yes. I discovered some time ago that a few of the missing securities had reappeared on the London market. You can imagine my amazement. I spent months trying to find them, and at last I discovered that the original seller had been Captain Peter Carey. These papers, they belonged to my family, but I could not find them there.
That's all for now. Well, I will see you soon, young man.
Alright, let's go to Woodman's Lee.
These boots match the footprints exactly.
We haven't even spoken to her yet. So, we know that Nelligan was trying to retrieve his notebook, but what he really went back in for, or what he went there for originally, was the papers involving his father. So yeah, he was there at the scene of the murder, but it still doesn't prove that he was guilty of it.
Does the name Liam Hurtley mean anything to you?
No, I don't know anyone by that name.
Thank you, madam.
That was informative. Okay, let's go back to Baker Street.